This game is just so fantastic. It's honestly a masterpiece. It's truly one of the best games I've ever played, probably in my 20 years of gaming, and that's not really even saying it lightly. I don't think I've ever had a game that has met my expectations since probably Left 4 Dead 2. That's how good this game is. It's probably going to be Game of the Year this year, without a doubt, no cap. I'm not doing a long intro. I just want to get straight into the video. So if you do like these kind of videos, I'm bringing back video game reviews. Please be sure to drop a like or put a comment on if you want these videos in the future. Let's just try and get this video to 20 likes. That would really help my channel out. All right, with that out of the way, let's get this started. So I understand that there's probably people in the comments that probably don't know what Dark Souls is, which I wouldn't be kind of shocked about. Like, I wouldn't kind of be shocked that some people don't know, like, what Dark Souls is because they haven't played it. So, I'm making this review kind of both with the, mind of people who have played it and the people who have heard of it and pretty much people who have played it like me. So, just going to combine all the three of those camps. So, Dark Souls, for the people who have never played this game, is essentially, it is an action RPG made by From Software, the illustrious From Software. And essentially what this game kind of does is puts you in the shoes of a protagonist who has no name and is an undead, essentially going up against impossible odds. Like, you face a lot of difficult bosses, have great set pieces such as this area, Stormhill, which is really nice. Just kind of like that. It's a game about overcoming odds with, like, pretty much just starting out with the bare bones necessities. It's a really good game of just enforcing that just philosophy, and it's just a really cool game overall. Now, I'm gonna first talk about why people believe that this game isn't gonna get Game of the Year. So what I did was I went on the internet and looked up 600 one-star reviews and pretty much, like, looked at them and see, like, okay, what was the problem with some of the game, or what was the problem with the game that people really didn't like? And there were three things that caught my eye. So I'm gonna talk about the most minor one first. It was the PC issue. So if you didn't know, PC had a really bad launch with, like, graphic kind of fidelity. It's like the same thing that happened with Batman Arkham Knight. Essentially, like, the graphics weren't, like, really that good. Like, PC would be stuttering, like, normally it'd be 120 frames, and unfortunately, it wasn't, just living up to expectations graphically. So, yeah, essentially, that was, like, the only problem that I saw on PC, but a lot of people really weren't happy about that. Good news is, like, that's why I include this first, is because From Software fixed in about 3 days, not 4 months like, Vanguard did with their game, but, that's beside the point. The second issue that I saw with the reviews is that this game is too hard. So, let's go into that. I hear this criticism lodged at this game, and pretty much any From Software game, so much to the point that it's pretty much like beating, like, a dead meme at this point. Like, everybody knows that From Software games are difficult. But that's what gives it character. As I said, what this game is made for is pretty much to overcome impossible odds. That's what this game is known for. But unfortunately, some people saw that this game is still popular and said, oh, I'm going to play it, and then didn't realize how hard it was because they're like, oh, why doesn't, like, the game tell me everything? Or why doesn't, like, this game just hold my hand? It's like, that's not what From Software games do. They don't hold your hand, and they never have, and I'm glad they never do. But yeah, some people were not very happy with how this game kind of is. Not like, player first. Like, they're not gonna be like, oh, let's basically, hold your hand. No, this game is supposed to be difficult and always will be. This game will always be difficult, and I'm always glad for it. But yeah, that was like the major complaint that I saw, is that people said it was too hard, which, yeah, I get it. Like, it's one of the main reasons why my brother will never play this game. I've tried to get my brothers to play this game for years, and even my friends, and the main reason why they will never play it is because it's, quote, too hard and a waste of time. Which, yeah, understandable. It's your opinion. Everyone has an opinion. But I feel like if the game was made too easy, and that's the thing, like, people want like an easy mode for this game, but I feel like that just ruins the core ideals of this game, and always will. So yeah, the difficulty is pretty much the problem with this game that people have seen, but I really feel like it's one of its greatest strengths and always will be. So another negative that I kind of saw was just like from developers, like salty developers from like Battlefield 2042 and Ubisoft. They said the UI is really bad, and I'm like, I don't think I don't think From Software is really caring about UI in an action RPG. And here, I'll even show you what the UI looks like. Does this like even look that bad? Like this is the UI. Like, does this look even that bad? This looks like a pretty stereotypical like UI that's been in like From Software games. So it's like, yeah, not even that bad. But you know, that's beside the point. But yeah, those are pretty much all the negatives that I found on the 1-star reviews. Most of them are just people who say the game is too hard, and then others are just from developers who are salty about Elden Ring's success. This game has a 97 on Metacritic, and for good reason. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, the real reason why you clicked on the video. Why this game is a masterpiece. I pretty much wanted to make the negative part like the shortest part, because there is just so much to talk about with the positives. So much. So let's start with the first one. The absolute set pieces. Like, this is just one area. Look at how gorgeous this is. I'm on my horse going like super quick, and there is like no like quality dampening like in the like background, because like some games do that sometimes, where like essentially if you're looking off into the distance or whatever, there'll be like a quality backdrop, or like quality pretty much going down. But like pretty much I'm looking at it and it looks fantastic all the way through. So yeah, like graphics and everything just look really good. Like, here, I'm just gonna give, like, pretty much, like, I'm gonna get on, like, the cliff and just show you what I mean. I mean, look at this. I don't think any other game besides Skyrim has probably done it way better. I mean, look at this. Look at how detailed this is. This is basically area that I can explore. This isn't even, like, 5% of the map. Here, I'll show you, like, what the map actually looks like. So, just to keep this in mind, I'm on the second playthrough. I've already completed the game. It's a absolute amazing 10 out of 10 game. But yeah, this isn't even 50% of the map. This is these like pretty much fog areas are the maps that I have not discovered yet. That's insane. Like, this map is almost as big as Red Dead 2's map, and I thought that map was huge. But like with Red Dead's map, it's not as detailed, but like with this, it's just like look, you can see like a collapsed like arch bridge right there. And it's like 500 feet or more away from me. And that's what I mean. Just utterly amazing. So let's also talk about another positive, the combat. So you're kind of seeing me do like a melee build. Like, there are so many builds when it comes to this game. Like, I'm not even kidding you. There's so many builds when it comes to this game. Also, look at the load times in this game. Skyrim would be mad at how fast that load time is. But pretty much, like, I'm a melee build. Like, I'm just using, like, a greatsword. Like, nothing too special. Like, that's pretty much, like, the build that I always do. But there's so many builds. I think there's over, like, 100 builds. You can use, like, mage builds. Like for example, like with mage, you can kind of, like, use these, like, scraps and pretty much, like, these spells right here, like, the ashes spells, to essentially, like, get pretty much like people going. Like, here, I'll like try to summon one right now, but I don't think I have enough magic. No, I don't. But essentially, you can use a lot of like, and I mean this, you can use a lot of magic and just pretty much range builds. You could literally, if you don't want to play this game, like if you don't want to make this game harder, melee builds always make the game harder. That's why I always choose a melee build. But if you want to like do this game on easy or something, like, just do magic. Magic, you can summon companions, and you can pretty much do anything you want with it. You can do a range build. You can essentially have, like, a bow and not worry about it. Oh, the Carl Weezer enemies. Hello. Love the Carl Weezer enemies, but what I'm saying here is that, like, there's so much customization that you can do with just not only your builds, armor as well. Like, I've only found 4 armor pieces, like, and there's, like, over 70 in this game. So, like, you can pretty much just customize, just kind of like, you know how on Destiny you can, like, customize and make yourself look like you're on a fashion show or whatever? It's same here. Same here. Like, that's what I mean. It's just, like, there's so much, like, customization when it comes to just overall, like, enemies. Like, pretty much you saw, like, the enemies that I was facing before. I was facing knights. Now I'm facing wolves. Now I'm facing skeletons and just all of that. That's what I mean. This game just never runs out of, like, interesting enemies and interesting locations. I'm going to be going to, like, a lot of different locations to kind of just, you know, like, strengthen my point. Because it's just, like, I cannot talk about this game enough in the, like, 20 to 25 minutes that I want to talk about it. There's just so much when it comes to this game that, like, I just can't fit in, like, 20, 25 minutes. Another positive that I would say that they do really well is, okay, so this game is open world. As you can clearly see, it's open world. But the one thing that I love about the open world is that pretty much with the open world, there is stuff that you can find that essentially isn't, like, you know, like a fetch quest. Like, you know how in Skyrim there'd be, like, these fetch quests that, like, you do and they just kind of be ultimately pointless. In pretty much this game, I feel like everything that you search for is, like, really cool. Heck, I've even found bosses just by exploring. Like, I don't think I've actually, you know, gone on the main quest on this character because I've just been out exploring. There's just so much that you can explore, like, in this game. And that's why, like, I feel like it's pointless just to do the main quest at first. I mean, see, even look at this. Look at this. I just found something and I wasn't even trying to look for it. Oh, golden seed. Look at that. Wow. Wasn't even trying to find it and I found it. And now it's going to give me more health. See? That's what I'm trying to say is that, like, with this game, essentially, you really can just find pretty much anything. And it's not even a fetch quest. It just shows the level of complexity that this game has. Another reason why I love this game is just, like, the feeling you get after you beat a boss. There is no other game where I have ever felt, like, just utter satisfaction in just completing such a hard challenge. I mean, yeah, there has been, like, times where, like, say, for example, you know, like, say you, like, you know, clutch a 1v3 in, like, a, you know, like, COD, Battlefield, or whatever, or Halo. But, I mean, those feelings are great, but, like, after you beat a boss that you've been struggling for, like, 6 hours, there is just no other feeling like it, and I don't think I've ever felt it in any other game. There really isn't. There is just no other feeling when it comes to pretty much this game. Oh no. See if that's what I mean. See, you can use magic builds. They're using magic on me. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. There's a lot of them. But anyways, another positive that I would say about this game is that what it does in, like, what it shows you pretty much, like, in story is just how I love how stories are pretty much made. So let me explain that one. I understand that I kind of worded that really badly, but let me explain. So, most conventional stories are pretty much, like, you know, conveyed to you in a very simple manner. It's like, this is bad guy, this is good guy, this is what bad guy wants. Like, it's very cut and dry. Like, it's super non-ambiguous and pretty much, like, everything in it is, like, straightforward. The thing that I love about Dark Souls is that the story is so ambiguous that there are so many channels just trying to understand what is going on in this universe. It is so ambiguous. Like, something that I just learned from watching one of their videos is that, so here, I'll show you what I mean. In this game, you see items like, oh, you know, just like items like, for example, like, oh, restoring HP. Ah, just simple, just healing mechanic. Well, no, actually, in this game, And in From Software games, it's linked to the lore. You are a tarnished or an undead, and essentially with that, you need fire to make sure that you don't go hollow. And if I had to explain hollowing, that would be like 30 minutes. But essentially, if you go hollow, you go mad and essentially become one of these zombie figures, kind of like the jellyfish that I'm fighting. Like, kind of like that, and that's not what you want. So the fire makes sure that you don't go hollow, and pretty much the Crimson Tears or the Estus Flask is just bottle fire. So it essentially makes sure that you don't go hollow. And something that I also heard is that, you know how like the game will kind of tell you it's like, oh, this item does this and whatever. But also in this game, there is a theory that when you're kind of talking about like, you know, item descriptions kind of like this or whatever, it takes on a different meaning when like you actually figure out it's your player's thoughts. Now, it is a theory and probably not true, but it makes the item descriptions kind of, you know, jump out at you more. It's like, oh man, this is what my character's actually saying. That's really cool. And another positive about this game is that, I'm going to be honest, this is probably the most important positive, and this is the one that I want to kind of put as last, and this is probably going to be the longest one. So, the reason why these games are so revered is because, I'm going to be honest, they are polished, made with care, and pretty much show that the developers are honestly taking fan feedback. So let me explain. Many games have come out in probably the last 5 years. There is at least one game every year since probably 2015 that has been a laughing stock. 2015 was Batman Arkham Knight. 2016 was Infinite Warfare. 2019 was essentially Modern Warfare. 2021 was Cyberpunk. And pretty much 2022 was Battlefield 2042. You see what I mean? Is that every year there has been a game that has been a complete laughingstock. And if there's a game that's not a complete laughingstock, it's unfinished. I mean, I know I pick on Vanguard, and I'm really being a dead horse when I say this, but like Vanguard is so basically just like unfinished. It is so seen. There is just absolutely nothing in it. Like, there is nothing in the game at all. I mean it. Nothing at all. It is so unfinished that essentially it took them 4 months to add the ray gun and pretty much, like, new maps and multiplayer. 4 months. Like, that's what I mean. That's so unfinished. That is just ridiculous. Like, look at this game. This game was made in probably, like, less than, like, you know, like, less than the Call of Duty cycle, and it is treated with more care than they have. I remember, like, games like this, like Elden Ring, Fallout New Vegas, and all that have, like, I remember reading that this game had, like, actually, like, a troubled development at first, and it just shows that, like, that even with a troubled development, that this game can even be made, like, really well. And that's something that, like, modern games always have, is that they have, like, pretty much, like, difficult, you know, development windows, because guess what? Like, investors want the game out so they get more money. But, like, haven't you noticed, like, with most games, like, the features that you once loved as a kid are just not there? Like, even if you disagree with this point, I want to ask you this question. In Call of Duty, when have you ever seen, you know, sticks and stones or anything like that? When have you seen that last? Or better yet, when have you seen a new camo in the game? I haven't seen one. I haven't seen a new mastery camo. I haven't seen pretty much just any new mode that, you know, attracted my attention like sticks and stones did. Like Halo Infinite, have you seen any content in the game at, like, release? No, it's been 4 months and there's no content to be said in that game. Which is, like, why, like, I feel like people love this game so much is because this is, like, probably the first time in, like, a couple years that I've ever felt that, you know, when I actually paid $60, and yes, this game was $60, not $70 like Vanguard or Battlefield 2042, that it actually felt complete. No, I mean that. This game feels complete. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that this game feels complete, as opposed to like other games that just don't even feel like it was worth $60. And I know many people are going to defend and still say it's like, oh, the games are going to get updated, but here's the thing. Games didn't work like that back in the day. Once you put the game out, if it failed, it failed. And that's what I mean. That's why this game is so revered, is that the content that is here was promised. I cannot tell you how many times I have heard in articles from developers saying like, oh, this game is going to have this game is going to have, you know, like a return to form, this game is going to have all this, it's going to be a great game for everyone to play. Fans will love it. But sadly, it's not like that at all. And that's why I kind of feel like this game, essentially, is so revered, is because this is an older game. Not older in the fact that it just came out, like, you know, in 2002. Older in the fact that, essentially, it goes, like, to the old policy of how games worked. It's like, you promise this, and if it's basically set to be released with this content at this time, it has that content. It's not like, we, like Halo Infinite, we promised to have this content, you know, co-op first day, but no, we're gonna have it 6 months later. Oh no, we're gonna like delete that. See, that's what I'm trying to say, is that like this game set out to be a From Software game, and guess what? It is. And that's what I'm trying to say. It exceeded in that expectation and did everything right. Now that's pretty much it for the positives. There's so many more positives that I can make about this game, but I'm already almost stretching 25 minutes, and I want to like make sure that it's not a half hour, like wherever you're watching. Maybe you probably want it to be a half hour because you may be watching it in school, but like I know most people don't want it to be a half hour. So I'm going to just summarize everything. So many people will say that this game is too difficult. And yes, while that certainly is true, that's what gives this game character and pretty much makes the overall experience a blast. If it wasn't difficult, I feel like this game would be neutered in every facsimile and make the game worse overall. So I believe that this game has the best combat, best story, kind of how it is, progression, pretty much like customization, and everything in between. It has pretty much everything that you would want in an action RPG. It pretty much checks every box that you would ever want. And I really feel like there's really no negatives to, like, you know, bring up. Like, weapon arts are cool. Like melee builds, like magic builds, like just so many good things in this game. Just, that's what I'm trying to say, is that like I implore most people to just give this game a try. I really do. I implore people to give this game a try. If you have never played these games, play this one. I have heard that this one is a lot easier than others. So if you really want to start on a game, play this one. Plus, let's be honest, you've definitely watched at least one stream of your favorite streamer or me play this game. So essentially, why not try it? Trying it would be kind of fun. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you're brand new around here. Also, I'm going to put my socials in the description. So if you want to go follow me on Discord and, you know, chat with me about any upcoming videos, please let me know. But with that out of the way, I'm going to get off. Have a lovely day or night, wherever you guys are watching, and see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.